So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. I am so excited because Amy Scruggs is in the house. She is in the green room waiting. She's like clawing at the screen. Let me in. She is coming on very, very soon, I promise. I cannot wait to share her with you. This is an amazing young woman who is so unbelievably talented in not just one area, but several. And we're going to get to know her. And it's going to be good for you because, why is that? It's because this show, the Mind, Body, Business Show, the purpose of this show is for you to be able to hear what others like Amy have done to achieve their level of success. And by hearing this and taking very good notes, hint, hint, wink, wink, as you listen, you will find the actual recipe for her success. And now all you need to do is put that recipe in action. Combine the ingredients, put it in the oven, set the oven, do everything she says she did, and you are guaranteed success much quicker than had you tried to do it on your own. That's what I love about what I get to do on this show, is to help you through other successful individuals like Amy Scruggs. And she is an amazing woman. I cannot wait. She's coming on real soon, I promise. And that is the purpose of this show, the Mind, Body, Business Show. It is about what I call the 3 pillars of success. Those are part of the name of the show. And so I've studied very successful people over the course of 10 years or so. And I wanted to find out what was it that made them perhaps more successful than, say, myself. And what I found were these 3 pillars, these 3 elements kept floating to the top and making themselves known. And they were mind, which stands for mindset. So to a person, each of these very successful individuals had not only a very powerful and positive mindset, but even more importantly, a very flexible mindset. Very important. And then body, literally, they took care of themselves physically and nutritionally by exercise and eating and drinking right. That simple. And then business. Business is so multifaceted. That is one of the things I love about it, is that in order to build and continue to scale a successful business, one must master various skill sets in order to do that. Skill sets like marketing, team building, systematizing, leadership. I could go on for quite some time. And being an astute audience member, listener, watcher that you are, you know that mastering any one thing can take a very long time. Like becoming an expert, I think, is on average of 10,000 hours to become an expert in any one area. That means intent focus. The good news for you is you won't have to master every one of these skill sets on your own. The good news for you is that if you just master one, and it was one of the few that I just mentioned, then you can leverage using the others. And that is the skill set of, do you want to know? Does anybody want to know? Just checking. Anybody? It is the skill set of leadership. Yes, I don't know if you saw that one coming. Here's the thing. You might say, Brian, I don't have a team yet. That's okay. Become very proficient at leading yourself. Yes, it still can work and does work until you have that team put together. And once you have mastered that skill, or even as you are mastering it and getting much better at it, you can then pull in those people that have mastered the skill sets that you have yet to master or may never master, just given the fact that there's only so much time in our lives. Then you could bring in that team, and now you have successfully assembled all the skill sets necessary for a very successful business. That is the essence of this show, is to bring on people like Amy Scruggs that will help you to catapult your business much faster. So during this show, we're going to elicit the secrets from her beautiful brain, what makes her tick, and how she has become so incredibly successful. And I cannot wait to do that. And another great aspect of very successful people is that to a person, what I found is they are also very avid readers of books. And so with that, I want to segue very briefly. I promise Amy's coming on really, really soon. I want to segue very quickly into a little segment I affectionately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by ReachYourPeakLibrary.com.
There you see it, ReachYourPeakLibrary.com. If you're watching live. Now, if you're not watching us live, then I highly recommend you do that, because each and every one of you is going to have the opportunity to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments of our sponsor, who I'll announce in a moment. You do not want to miss that, and you have to be watching live in order to qualify for that wonderful, amazing prize. We give it away every single show. So to be able to know when we are going live, all you need to do is go to themindbodybusinessshow.com. That's all you need to do is type out those 500 letters, themindbodybusinessshow.com. Click on any of the buttons that say where and how to watch. I just said, Amy's got me going crazy here. This is awesome. And there you will opt in. She's laughing in the green room. I love this. It's going to be so fun. And there we go. And you then opt into that, and you, man, I'm self-conscious now, because this is one of the things Amy does, is she cleans up your vocabulary. And I don't mean that I'm swearing on the air. It is about speaking with purpose. It's about starting your sentence with a sentence, as she just told me so astutely earlier. And now I'm very self-conscious about it and aware of it even more than ever. And that's a good thing, because that will help me to get better. I'm always improving as well. And that's one of the things she helps you do. And we're going to dig deep into that. One of the points I wanted to make is you're going to hear a lot of resources on this show. Amy will have many more. This being one of them, ReachYourPeakLibrary.com. Now, instead of succumbing to the urge of going over and typing it and clicking it and checking it out while the show is going, instead of doing that, I would implore of you instead to write it down and then visit it after the show is over. Here's the thing. When I've been on stage speaking, and I've done this many times, numerous times, teaching students, I know when I'm getting to that juicy part. Now, with Amy, I don't know when the juicy part's coming. It's probably going to be every other sentence out of her mouth. The thing is you do not want to miss a single tidbit, a single idea, a single tip from her. And if you were to take your gaze off and start typing and looking at resources, maybe she'll give us a book, maybe one of the books she's written, maybe her songs, her website. If you're off looking at that and not listening to her, and you miss it because your attention isn't on her, I would just so hate for that to happen. So please, not for me, but for you, write it down and visit the resources after the show. That even includes when you get to enter to win the 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. You can do that after the show's over. Yes, write it down. All right, off my soapbox, ReachYourPeakLibrary.com is a resource that I literally had built by my team with you in mind. And the reason is I myself was not an avid reader until the age of 47, which was 11 years ago. Everyone's done the math already. I know it. And the great thing is I realized and learned what a profound effect it had on my professional life and my personal life, and sometimes both. And so I began compiling a list of those books that I was reading that did that. And those are the only books that are on this site. I'm falling behind. I need to have more added. But not every book I've ever read is on this site. I became a very avid reader, again, at the age of 47, because I learned of a new resource back then. It was somewhat new, called Audible. And I learned that I can listen to books and absorb them much faster and easier than I ever could trying to read them with my eyes. I'd get eye strain and all kinds of things. I just didn't like reading. Now I love it. I can't get enough of it. And this is a gift to you. Now, look, this website is not here to make money for us. If you click those buttons, yes, there's a tiny affiliate fee we'll earn. I honestly don't care where you get it. If you see a book that's scrolling up right now, when you go to visit this after the show's over, because you took this down as a note, didn't you? ReachYourPeakLibrary.com. Then you can go get this anywhere you want. Go find the cheapest version you can. This, again, is not for the purpose of you or of us making money. Just find the first book that jumps off the page that says, I need to read that, and then go get it, however you want to get it. That's fine with us. I just want you to have the ability to expand your life in ways that I didn't even know existed until about 11 years ago. That's my gift to you. Speaking of gift, guess what time it is? It's time to give the gift of Amy Scruggs. Here she comes. Let's get ready. Cannot wait. Yes.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there she is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the one, it is the only Amy Scruggs.
It is so great to be here. You know, you don't even need me. The wisdom that you gave in those first few minutes, that's it. Show over. That could change everybody's life who's watching this right now. Fantastic and so true.
Okay, you can come on every show from now on.
You don't need me now. You got it all.
Flattery will get you
I
everywhere.
wasn't counting your ums. I was behaving myself.
I appreciate that. I have it all because of people like you, Amy. And that's the truth. Without amazing individuals like yourself, I wouldn't do this show. I originally wanted to make this show a talking head, which meant me by myself. And thankfully, I decided not to and went back to interview style. There is so much more value to give to people in that format, in this format, than
completely.
I'm not saying you should never do a talking head and do, a single person just giving tips and helping and coaching. That's okay. But it's so much more dynamic and I think more engaging, and it holds people attention, and they will get more out of it as a result than if it were just one person talking. So I appreciate you for taking the time.
Yeah, what's so fun is that even if everybody else isn't enjoying it as much as we are, our connection together, and we raise each other's energy, and we give each other great insight and some good golden nuggets that we can take and put into our business. So hopefully, if everybody's really paying attention, those are going to be in there. But this is a value just across the board, no matter how you dice it.
Yeah, and you're so right. We get the most out of this than anybody else. In fact, I get more out of it than you will, because you're the one providing the value you already know. I'm getting new value. I'm getting new techniques and tips and tricks. We were talking before the show, and you told me a few things about what you do, which we'll get into at depth. That you see, here we go. That
We're having way too much fun. Just
awesome.
I'm not checking, I promise.
It's good though. It's good that I'm now aware of it, and it will keep me on track more. It'll help me to slow down a little bit. Sometimes I get so excited. I have a very fast talking mind, as I just did it again. So I want to find out from you. Well, first, before we go, I need to do a little bit of what do we call this? Housekeeping. So I told everyone in the beginning that you will get the opportunity to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments of, now you can see it up there, the Big Insider Secrets. It's that red and white stamp looking thing. For those of you watching on video, and those of you that are not watching, that's the biginsidersecrets.com for those of you that are listening on podcasts, or maybe even watching the recording as well. And this is an amazing thing. So you do not want to go anywhere. You want to stick around for that. That is an amazing gift. And a little birdie told me, named Amy Scruggs, she's not a birdie, we all know that she also has a gift for you toward the end of the show. Yeah, it's even a surprise to her. That's what I love about it. And
professional counter.
I love it. And a couple more real quick shout outs, and then we'll get right to it. So here we go. If you're struggling with putting a live show together and it's overwhelming, and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show, that's important, and connect with great people, this one's just as, if not more important. So to connect with great people like Amy Scruggs, I am not kidding, and grow your business all at the same time, then head on over to carpetbombmarketing.com. Instead of heading over, write it down. Carpetbombmarketing.com. Saturate the marketplace with your message. And one of the key components that's included in the Carpet Bomb marketing system is one that you'll learn how to absolutely master. And it's something that Amy herself has mastered. It's the very service we used to stream our live shows right here, right now on the Mind Body Business Show. And over the course of Gush, it's been about, Gush was goodness and gosh at the same time, just for those of you that didn't know. Gush, that's a new word. Over the course of past 10 years or so, I've used so many of these quote unquote TV studio solutions. I'm a tech geek. I love this stuff. I devour it and find out what works the best. And I'll tell you, StreamYard is the best of the best from where I come from everything I use it for. It combines supreme ease of use along with unmatched functionality. So write this down, ryp.im/stream live, ryp.im/stream stream live with that link, you can start streaming high quality professional looking live shows for free. Take it for a whirl, kick the tires. So go ahead and write that website down and visit it. Now we're going to come back and finally bring back the woman of the hour, Miss Amy Scruggs, the unbelievably talented young woman. So if you don't mind, Amy, I'd like to open it up with just, could you give us, well, before I do that, I'm going to introduce you with your wonderfully written bio. And
I
then
was just
I'm
thrilled
going
you
to ask
called me
you.
young woman twice. I have to say, hands down, you're getting a Christmas present. Thank you.
Okay, I'll do it a third time. Let's see what happens. All right. So Amy uses her 20 years as a media executive, TV host. Do you hear that? Television host, recording artist. Do you see the oozing of talent here? Public speaker and corporate spokesperson to help others present and communicate a concise and professional message, taking out the ums and the ahs that I have been spewing everywhere. Whether you're on camera with network TV, Zoom, podcast, social media marketing, or in-person public speaking appearance. Amy's career also includes more than 20 years. There's no way she could have achieved this at her youthful age in sales, team coaching, and she's received a bestseller with her book, Lights, Camera, Action, in the fall of 2021. And she has a new music released, a hit single, and she just released it this year in 2022. And it's called, I love this title, What If It All Goes Right? And you can actually watch and listen to her music video on our website that we'll be sharing in just a moment. That is now on radio and is charting worldwide. Oh my goodness. Oozing with talent, oozing with experience, oozing with authenticity, integrity. You add it up, and youth to boot. I'm going to throw that in many more times now.
Thank you.
So, and vibrancy, my gosh, so much energy. I just love that about you, Amy. And what I wanted to do is just, if you wouldn't mind, in your own words, give us a little bit about your background, and maybe more about what you've done in the past, whatever you feel is important that you'd like to get out in front of people. And then what are you focusing on these days in your business?
Thank you so much, Brian. I love kicking this off with one word, shift. Because everything I'm about to describe, and I promise I'm going to do a nice little Cliff Note version as to what got me right here today, because it's a lot, even in my young years. But the word shift, being able to continually shift when life hits us, when the economy hits us, when uncertainty hits us, children hit us, everything else. And that really describes the last 20 years of my journey, and why in the bio, wait a minute, how did I do sales and a recording artist and the book and all of these other things? It was the power of shift and taking the limits off, which I love to do. But I got my start in wholesale mortgage in Southern California 20 years ago. I had an amazing woman. She was a cancer survivor, single mother of 3, that took a chance on me when I needed to provide for my kids. I was a single mom at the time, and I needed to start in an industry that was really going to provide for me. And I knew nothing about mortgage. And she said, I'll take a chance on you. And I will never forget how powerful that moment was when somebody says, I believe in you and I'm here for you and I'm going to show you the ropes. And I took that moment and said, I'm going to make her proud and I'm going to give it my best. And I went out and gave it my best. And 6 months later, I was the #1 account executive for City Financial, handling my wholesale mortgage business around Southern California. What I learned very quickly was that it was effective communication, being comfortable in front of others, being able to present in a boardroom, being confident and well-spoken, that allowed me to succeed at a time that I was in a new industry and go out and ask for the business. And so I enjoyed that time as a sales professional and was able to provide for the kids, and worked for a couple different lenders and worked my way up to sales manager. And then 2007 happened. And anybody can remember what took place then, especially with real estate and mortgage, but it disappeared for me overnight. What I had built, what I had known was gone. And that's where that shift takes place. But if you back up to childhood, when I started playing piano and singing at 3, and then throughout the years, always being in a band or performing in the church choirs growing up, and then in a cover band while I was in wholesale mortgage around Southern California, I knew it was time to take that passion for music and take a real chance and do it. And if there ever was a better time, it was then in that recession that I said, wait a minute, I know how to perform. I've been doing this my whole life. I'd had some opportunities to record in Nashville a little bit beforehand. But I also knew that my success in business was because of communications and asking for the business and running it as a business. So I combined those two things, and I went out and asked for the business as a recording artist. And I put a comprehensive marketing package together. I made it make sense. And I went out and asked, and 6 months later, I was opening for Clint Black on a national stage in Camp Verde, Arizona on the 4th of July. And I was in the morning show on the TV. I was doing radio, and I knew that that was going to open up those next opportunities for possibility, because what I had known had just disappeared. And you have two choices. I can bury my head in the sand, or I can go make opportunity happen and find it. And that's what we did. And with Kids in Tow, we went out and toured for the next years, opening for some of the biggest names in country music, and also spent 3 years of that as the spokesperson for the American Veterans for the state of California. And we did a lot of military and veteran events. It was an incredible time, but it was the ability to say, I'm going to take these limits off. I'm not afraid of being told no and pushing through. We had some tragedies take place in 2011. We did end up losing our home, like so many at that time. And our bass player suddenly died. He had a heart attack at 40. And so I knew, okay, shift. I had to grieve. I had to make some decisions. And begrudgingly, I went back into the real estate and mortgage world, knowing it was time to cut my teeth in that again. I had a great resume from that time. And so I made the shift. And I felt so passionately that if I put everything into this that I just did into building my music career and go back and see what's there. And I just felt, wait and see what happens. And that was in 2011. And now here I sit 11 years later. And over the last 11 years, I built incredible relationships. I've sung at the stadium numerous times. I still had opportunities to have amazing shows opening for Chubby Checker and Frankie Avalon, Toby Keith, Tony Orlando. I had incredible opportunities, but I was also handed the opportunity to be a TV host, interviewing business professionals, sales professionals, which is a language I spoke, and also hosting a show based on the military and veteran community, which I also spoke. If those shifts hadn't taken place, I wouldn't have been right for those opportunities. And so that led me over to this journey then to 2020 when it hit all of us, right? But the entire world went on camera. And guess what I do? I assist professionals in being on camera. I have experience in sales. I have experience as a recording artist. I have experience in running my business. And so I took that and said, it's time to write the book, like everybody else did during a pandemic. But I put the book together, and then the phone rang out of nowhere. In the middle of a pandemic, I got the call from Nashville I've waited for 18 years that said, are you ready to finally record your dream project? And my A&R rep, who never gave up on me all those years because I maintained those relationships, was able to put together the opportunity for me to record with one of the greatest legends in music, one of the best producers of all time, Fred Mullen. But see, everybody was home. Musicians weren't out touring. The producers were home. The studios were available. So I said, yes, hands down, yes. We started the song search, went through 1,000 songs, narrowed it down to 300 to narrow it down to 5. And the one that stood out like a needle in a haystack, pulled that one out, was called What If It All Goes Right? And so here I sit with you today, enjoying the incredible tools we have with today's digital technology. I've released a book, a music project. I have a busy coaching business, and I get to help inspire and empower others to not give up when the world provides a shift, to not give up when you think it's hopeless. It's not. Take a talent that you have and go turn it into a business. And that's what I do. And here we are.
If there was ever a bomb dropping moment, that was it. I will tell you.
Did I make my time limit too?
Oh my goodness. Smart bombs, wisdom bombs, bombs of knowledge. Oh my gosh. That was amazing. Everything. And I wrote down a few notes. I got some comments coming in. I want to hit those real quick. Tim Gillette, how you doing, brother? He's got his own wonderful live show as well. Absolutely awesome. And I think you know who this is, even though his name isn't there.
We definitely know him. Wonderful, yes, wonderful.
I think he's referring to my calling you young over and over. I'm being a kiss up. And powerful story. Yes, that is so true. That was one of the things I noted was persistence. I wrote down some words. Look, I told everybody it would be a good idea to write notes. I'm running this show. And I'm writing notes too. So I don't ever tell people to do what I myself am not willing to do. And I do. Okay. So, but that song, What If It All Goes Right?
Crazy, huh?
You have a terrific story, because I asked you right before the show, I said, wait a minute, did you write the book by the same exact title? And
No.
you said, and this is where you can take it away. That was a great story.
Fabulous. You put something out there and you believe in it. And What If It All Goes Right is not a song that I released saying this has to be a success or I'm not okay. This was a song that says, if this touches the life of one person, oh my gosh, that's amazing. If it reaches 1 million, even more amazing. I didn't have any attachment to putting this music out there. After all these years, attachments are off, limits are off. And so I was just excited to put this out and say, where is it supposed to go? What life is it supposed to have? Well, I was on another podcast. I was doing a great interview when the host kept asking me a lot of questions about the song and we discussed it. Well, come to find out, the week later, he had another guest coming on his show who is the author of a book called What If It All Goes Right, Mendy Odland. And so she heard the podcast that I did with him. He connected the two of us, and we were able to meet on Zoom from opposite sides of the country. And absolutely just an amazing, delightful, beautiful woman. We connected. And now she asked me to join the board of directors for her nonprofit, What If Up.org Foundation, where I now sit because of this song, because of the power of being on great shows like this, and the power of utilizing these digital tools to make real relationships.
Just unbelievably awesome and amazing story, because you guys have the same exact phrase, and it's just that you guys were meant to connect.
Yes.
It was meant to be. And I love the message itself, because so many we're all focused on what else is going to happen? What else is going to go wrong? We have that downtrodden. It's a human trait. It's also a learned trait. And because it's a learned trait, that means we could relearn it, unlearn it, and then relearn
unlearn it and recalculate that. Exactly.
Yes. And,
exactly.
And I've seen the music video. Very well done. You said you did everything. You produced it, directed it. I think you even sang in it.
I may have done some singing there too. Yes. But the video, and I hope everybody takes a look at it. You can find it on YouTube. Just put in What If It All Goes Right, Amy Scruggs, YouTube. You'll find it. You can't miss it. But
yeah,
I wanted to show people in all ages, all cultures, all demographics having their moment of their win. And that's what the video represents.
And I love, it's just the phrasing of life. What if it does all go right? How come something always has to be wrong?
Right.
And a very astute person who became my mentor. He's literally young enough to be my son by age. I don't care about age. I don't care about race, gender, religious beliefs, none of that, as long as the person has high integrity and value. But he said one thing, and he said it from stage often, and it never escaped me. He said, I don't think he coined the phrase, but what he did say was, you get what you focus on.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. And so he would say this wasn't my words, but he'd say, so if you focus on a whole lot of crap, you're going to get, guess what? A whole lot of crap. But if you focus on what you want, well, let's see what happens. Right. And so that's what your song reminded me of, was let's focus where our focus should be, not where we're not in fear of what could happen that may never happen, but we're giving it the ability to happen to us by continually visiting it and focusing on it. And so I appreciate you for putting that song out. That's amazing.
Thank you. And it's had a life of its own. I have to tell you, every time I find out it has a next success point, or it did well here or there, and like New York Times picked it up for their 2022 summer playlist that was out of left field. And I didn't even know about it. It was another show, a podcast host that emailed me and said, did you know your song's on the New York Times playlist? I'm like, no, I did not. But thank you for telling me, because it's just taken a magical life of its own. I'm just the vessel. I just had the privilege of being the voice. I believe that this was chosen for me, and I get to ride along with it. I don't take any of the credit for it. It's just been beautiful that I had this opportunity. And really, that's how I see it.
And that's beautiful about you. I think you should take credit in so many ways, because you spent 11 years of your life becoming an overnight success. You put in the time, you put in the effort, the sweat equity, the persistence, the discipline, the never give up. How many times did you want to give up and say, why am I doing this? I mean, I think we've all done
those definitely. We're not human if those thoughts don't cross our mind. It's the daily disciplines that gets us out of it quicker, so we don't stay in that. It's a fleeting thought, but it's not something we rest in and stay in.
Amen. You said it absolutely perfectly. We are human. We will have negative emotions. It's about how we react to them and how quickly we do so.
Yes.
You said it perfectly. Oh, you're just freaking awesome. I already knew that, but and thank you, Ryan Dement, for introducing this young woman to me and making her part of my world. And she doesn't know this, but we're now family, and you know how it is. You can't pick your family, so you're stuck. You're stuck.
It's
So
okay.
it's okay.
How many of my kids would you like to also contribute with?
We'll see. I got to pick my favorite first. I'm kidding.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll send resumes.
I love it. We'll do a kid swap. I got a couple.
Yes, exchange program.
Yeah, there we go. One of the things I love to really dig into in a kind way with every person I bring on this show, what I'm a firm believer in, our level of success or lack thereof is not due to any external factors of any kind that happen to us. It's what is going on between our ears, what is going on in our own mind. Our success or lack thereof, in my opinion, is 100% attributable. That's a tough word to say. Attributable to one's own mindset. What's going on? What programs are running? And I want to find out from you, Amy, because you've been through it. You've been through the trenches. You've 11 years of just going after it, and finally getting to that point where you finally can see the fruit of your labor. And I'm so glad you kept going. If people like you did not keep going, we wouldn't have the positive messages. We wouldn't have the training that you provide that we will get into. I can't wait to bring that up. And everything else that is helping other people. You said one sentence. You said, I get to help and inspire. I stopped and wrote that down. That is your essence. I can tell that. And that is the essence of most successful entrepreneurs I've ever met. So for those of you out there that might just be starting, I just want to implore upon you, it's not about money. Money will come. It's about your passion. What are you here on this planet to do? What's your purpose? And I know you probably hear this and it sounds cliche, but it's so true. You've got to be happy in what you're doing.
So true. You have to find something you love in everything that you do. I mean, even the jobs that weren't good, there were jobs along the way. Like anybody else, I was like, ugh, okay, this one's a tough one. All right, not quite what I thought that was going to be. But then you look at it and go, but what tools am I gaining in this time? How am I learning patience? Maybe I'm learning some resilience. Maybe there's coworkers there. And I'm telling you, every one of those jobs that I thought I was miserable, later, it was a former coworker or somebody there that opened up a door for me that was the next great opportunity. I was put in the seat to host the American Dream TV for 5 years because of a coworker that I worked with in a job that I hated. But he called me and said, Scruggs, I got an opportunity for you. But doing the right thing, showing up and putting your best and finding joy in what you're doing, it benefits your future. Because staying stuck or being miserable just isn't an option unless that's the life model you laid out for yourself. If you lay out and say, I'm choosing that I want to be miserable while the time I have here on this earth, then you can do a good job of that by those skill sets of being miserable and continuing to put it down that path. But if you say, wait a minute, if I really want out of this, if I really want to create opportunity, and I can't change what the world is today. I can't change the economy. I can't change the hardships. I know there's a lot of hardships out there, but what I can do is level myself up. So if there is an opportunity, I've raised my chances of being the one that can have that opportunity versus I'm someone that just gave up, because it's not an option.
Yeah, and it's all about being at cause. You're just defining being at cause where we can only control our own attitude. That's it. And that's what it comes down to, is just your attitude. We all have choices. It's our choice whether we want to be successful or not. And it's our choice whether or not we want to put the work in that it takes to become that. Right. And what does success mean to one person might be completely different than it means to another. That's okay. Whatever your definition of success is the right one.
And you're right. Finding that what is the definition of success? For me, some days it was, wow, I really accomplished my whole inbox today. I reached out. I made sure I was diligent in my business today. I didn't do any wow moments. I wasn't on a national stage. I didn't do any interviews today, but I was effective in my business. I kept my word. I worked with integrity. I mentored someone. That's success. I can go to bed that night and go, oh, good job. I did my job today.
Yeah, it's like stacking pebbles. It's every little bit. I think Art Williams said it, inch by inch, it's a cinch, something like that. And it is. It's about moving every single day forward. And it's, look, we are a society of instant gratification. We want things now and yesterday. We got instant coffee. Remember back in the day, I don't know, you're not old enough to know this, but there used to be this thing called instant coffee. I know you're just too young.
Senka.
they would put freeze-dried flakes in a jar, like
Yes.
Taster's Choice. I'll never forget that nasty stuff.
Oh, it was awful.
You'd boil water on the stove, pour it in a cup. It's boiled water. You drop these flakes and you stir it up, and there's your instant coffee. Well, now we have Keurig that actually makes the coffee faster than you could boil a pot of water, and it's phenomenal. So we become accustomed to getting everything instantly, and then when it comes to business and we don't get it instantly, we think, oh, well, that was a good. I tried everything, and it just doesn't work for me.
But did you?
No. Yeah.
Because sometimes the failures, the uncomfortable waiting, the stuck points, the long drawn out processes that aren't as fun, that's where the success is coming in. Planning. I am reaping seeds I planted 4 years ago, 2 years ago, that I'm like, would you look at that? I'm so glad I planted that seed. And if I do that every day, and if I work on the seeds I already planted and I plant new seeds, and we do this day after day, guess what you have over time? You've got a beautiful forest.
You planted seeds 11 years ago on the focus path.
It.
And that's the thing. One thing I love about this journey called entrepreneurship, I'll ask you, Amy, let's say you have finally made it to the absolute echelon. You are at the top, and there is a literal ceiling you cannot punch through because you've succeeded as far as you could possibly succeed. There was nothing more that you could do to go farther forward. What would that feel like to you?
I don't picture that, because every time I think what I think it might be, life is beautiful and shows us something differently. And so I am more excited about the daily pursuit. And my word every day is, I'm curious. I'm curious where this one's going to go. I'm curious what's going to happen with this. I'm curious to see what comes up next. So for me, the continual curiosity of not thinking that it's something I'm trying to get to, but enjoying what I'm in, is the success. That for me is the pinnacle. That is the top point.
I love it. What is the guy's name? A Virgin Atlantic. What is the British guy?
I know which is, of course, only because you asked now I can't see.
I know. I can picture him. My mentor, whose name is Mel Cutler, had the opportunity to talk to him during a break at some seminar or something. I don't remember where it was or when it was, but they were both leaning back against a wall in a hallway. Richard Branson, that's it.
Thank you.
And he started peppering Mel with questions. One of the most successful people financially on the planet is peppering this young dude who's in his 20s at this point, high 20s, and he's just peppering him with questions. And that's what Mel took back and taught from stages like curiosity. You said it, is one of the key elements of the most successful people on the planet is that of curiosity. See, when we ask questions, especially men, we think, oh, we're giving up that we don't know everything. And so we're not all that anymore. And it's funny because it's ego that's really trashing our goals and our dreams. It's ego. Once you get rid of ego and you just start asking questions out of curiosity, guess what? People love it when you ask questions of them.
Yes.
They see that you value them. That builds rapport. That is one of the key ingredients to success. And Amy just said it a moment ago, curiosity. And she's very curious. Now you see why she's so successful. All you have to do is follow the model of success. She's doing just that. Did she invent that model? No. Is she following it? Yes. Should you follow it? Your choice.
It is. It is a choice. You're right.
Off
You're
my
right.
soapbox.
I was just on the Dr. Phil show a week ago discussing the topic of quiet quitting. And it was really eye-opening for me to see those that are choosing quitting as that choice, as their success model. And the sense of maybe hopelessness, or that it's not going to happen for them. And it broke my heart, because I'm like, no, put your best out there. Watch and see what happens. I mean, my goodness, I would have fired myself at 30, right? It's a constant pursuit of taking those next tools and leveling up and being willing to grow. Like you said, being willing to put ego aside and say, what do I have to learn? What did I learn from failures? I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid of the regret of not trying. And that has been a big model for me. Failure, great, that at least I know what not to do next time. I want the failures, because then that navigates me towards where I'm really supposed to be going. But if I sit back and go, remember that time I could have recorded a song in Nashville? Yeah, if it was the timing right, it was a pandemic. What if, could I have written that book during COVID instead of watching Netflix? But yeah, it would have been a lot of work. Not trying is what I'm afraid of. Now, if the book failed, I could say, well, hey, at least I filled my time with something productive. I learned from it. I met new people, had incredible experience, and now I know what to do better next time. And that's how I see it.
Yeah, it's excuses. Those are death to anyone's progress. You can either have another word for is reasons. So you
Yeah.
can either have reasons or you can have results. But I'm sorry to tell y'all, you can't have both. It's either one or
Right.
the other. It's a 1 or a 0. You get reasons. You can make all the excuses you want, or you can just go after it and get results and say enough of the excuses. It's time to
And
get
aren't the
busy.
results so much more fun?
Oh my gosh.
Isn't it
And we
great?
talked about failing, and that is another thing. It's like my younger self, oh, I had to be perfect. Nothing could ever fail. And if and when it did, then I felt I was a failure and I quit doing whatever it was I was doing because I didn't score 100% on that test, right? And
Mm-hmm.
as I got older and wiser and learned to smart people like you, just like you, and learned that, oh my gosh, I'm going about this entirely the wrong way. So I have a decision to make. Do I want to continue being correct or right all the time, or do I want to be happy? And
Exactly. I want to be happy.
yes,
I
and
want to have a fulfillment. I want to know that I'm receiving and that I can bring stuff in, whether it's insight, whether it's love, whether it's intellect, whether it's resources, because how can I give them if I don't receive them? So if I'm in a constant place of openness to wanting to find more resources, more success and abundance, then I can go give it. But I can't give it if I don't have it.
very astute. I cannot give if I don't have. I mean, that is such a broad stroke, a big brush with that one, because that also includes your health.
Mhm.
That includes, if
Completely.
you don't have your health, you cannot give.
Right.
So we need to, like, mind body business. It's all about mind and body are a team. And more importantly, the mind and body are your team. If you're not taking care of both, then the team as a whole is suffering. And
Yeah.
you won't be able to serve others in the capacity that you were meant to, right?
Mhm.
It's about peak level of performance at the top of the top that you can get. And you're hitting it all. I mean, goodness sakes. Oh, you
Mhm.
are such a joy to interview and talk to
Thank you.
and have as my new best friend. This is awesome.
I love it. I love it.
You talked about failure several times, and I'm so glad you did. Can you recall one or two, or just one, that really sticks out in your mind because of what it taught you and how it helped you to right the ship and right the course into the direction of greater success for yourself in your life?
Mm. Failure is a tough one. I had some moments, especially on tour, that I didn't plan it out right. I didn't have the resources that I thought I was going to have. I mean, at one point on tour, I had a full band and we had a show cancel, and I had too close of a gap and didn't account for any fail safes or what if a show cancels, what are we going to do? And I literally had to lay off 3 band members on tour in the
Ugh.
middle of it, and had to figure out how I was going to get myself out of that mess. And I remember now seeing, wait a minute, I should have put a lot more front planning on that. But that, like, oh, it'll work out. I still have that. It'll be okay. What if it goes right? I mean, I really thought it would. And thankfully, it did, because I had a miracle come in and save me at the last minute. That the fairground in Colorado that we were performing at found out about the next show getting canceled, that venue canceled. And they actually covered our hotel room to stay for those extra days and use the fair emergency funds to provide for us, and said, this is a gift to you. And
Wow.
I remember just, wow, we would have been sleeping on the sidewalk had that not happened. But it was definitely a learning curve of realizing I needed to have more systems and more tools. I was flying blind in running a big production like that with a full band, 2 trucks, equipment, and a 2-month tour around the country. So I think that was the failure that really woke me up very quickly. I remember being cussed out behind the turkey leg stand at a fairground by a drummer. And his exact words were, explicitive, fly me home. And I did. I flew him home. And that's been ever since, that's been the joke. And I remember that. I'll go, that's it. Fly me home. And that's that. And then I get, that's not an option. Not this time. I've learned from that.
Wow.
But it was eye-opening.
I love it. Systems and tools. And then, so you just hit on a couple of wonderful, wonderful things. And that was, you even said it during that description, is what if it all goes right? That's a great lesson in knowing that it's good to have that mentality, but it is still also very important to take into account that things can and will go wrong. And you need to have your systems in place So it's not all about just, oh, it's all just going to go right and everything's going to be
Magically.
grand. It's a great attitude. And I highly endorse, your song in saying that's a great attitude to have. It's also something that is not going to take care of everything. Is that a good way of
place as well? Yes.
Yeah. And so
Like
it's
anything else, you have to
important.
run it as a business. You have to run it as a business. I tell artists that all the time. You have to run it as a business. You can be the greatest musician on the planet. Run your business as a business.
Yeah, great tip. And do it, but also do it with the positive, what if it all goes right attitude.
It's
As
both.
you're going forward, like, oh, I don't want to make this sales call because I'm nervous, but what if it all goes right?
Right.
Let's
Put a
just
good
get- let's just
intention
get
to it. Make sure you have your talking points. You have to make that sales call. We'll have your notes in front of you. Know what it is you're selling, what the purpose is, what value you're bringing to this potential client you're trying to sell. Then take that deep breath, put the right intention to it, then make the call.
I literally had that call an hour before we got on together. And I had I have 2 big monster monitors at my computer, and I had them all over the place ready. He said, all right. He literally came on and said, okay, Brian, pitch me. And he didn't mean it like, he was bracing for it. He wanted it. He just wanted to know what was involved in it. And I thought, okay. And I just went and looked around and said, okay, this will be the best part. And I was ready. It's all about preparation.
Preparation and the positivity. Exactly.
Yes. And so I was doing that. I was like, all right, this is a slam dunk. It's awesome. Everything you're saying, I hope everyone is integrating this into their being right now, who is either watching us live, watching the recording, or listening to it on podcast, is take notes on this, go back, listen to it again. Amy is providing some of the most valuable tidbits for success, and you may not even know it yet. There are some things that she said that they are so incredibly important, and you may think, oh, but that has nothing to do with running a business because it's all about mindset. That just makes it every bit as much more important about succeeding in business. That's what took me forever, Amy, to figure out was it's about our mind. It's what's going on in here. It's about our decisions, our attitudes, everything that's going on in our own brain is the whole reason we are where we are right now.
I had a call this week, for an example, and I was worried about it. I got the moment where I almost had the worry because I didn't know if it was going to be a call that we were going to really connect, and I was concerned if the message had been sent correctly and if we were understanding each other. And instead of keeping the anxiety on it, I'm like, what if I set that intention that we're going to have a great communication, that I'm going to be of value, that I'm going to endear this person back over to me to see that my intentions were correct in the way I delivered it. And I'll have you know that that's exactly what happened. It was the most amazing call and the highlight of my week that if I had stayed in a point of like worry or dread, probably could have self-sabotaged it. And it ended up being the most beautiful victory and incredible connection with mutual understanding that moved everything forward.
So it was number 1, massive preparation. Number 2, what if it all goes right?
Yes.
2 steps to success, everyone. That's all it takes. Amy Scruggs just laid it out for you. I mean, we could make it more difficult if we wanted, but really is there any reason? No.
It's just not.
Isn't that often the case where I've done this? I'm guilty of that, where we see something that looks so simple. There's no way that could work. There's to be like 50 steps, not 2. I mean, how many of us have fallen prey to that? I have.
Get in our own way and complicate it. It really can be that simple and just shift you and lock you into a new space and change the entire game.
And so I like to tell people that all you need are 2 things. One is find one person, not 10. One person who has achieved the level of success you would desire to achieve. There might be one right here. And then make that person, ask them if they will be your mentor. And I guess the third component, which is underlying to the number 2, is when they tell you this is the key to success and they say you need to do these in order, X, Y, Z, you do them in X, Y, Z, not X, A, Y, B, Z.
Right.
Because I've done that too. It's like, oh, I can do this a better way. I can do it more efficient. And
how'd that work out for you?
With that?
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, exactly. It seemed to take forever. Like it never did end up working.
Surprising.
And I did that more than once. Like, oh, I can do better than that. I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
Smack. So that is it. Find somebody who has achieved this level of success you desire. It doesn't have to be a Richard Branson. And thank you, Ryan Dementi. he added that name while we were talking. I didn't see it. And yeah, find that person and then ask them if they will mentor you. Be ready to pay for it, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have skin in the game, i.e. cash
Investing in yourself.
dinero,
You're investing in yourself.
yeah, it's the greatest investment you could ever make.
Yes, it is.
And the more you pay, the more you'll be vested, the more you will take their advice, the quicker you will achieve success. If you don't pay it and you try to do it on your own, well, like Amy just said, how's that working out for you? How would you rather it take you 10 years of struggle on your own, or would you rather have the guidance of someone successful and get it done in maybe 2 to 3 years? I mean, which would you rather have? How much money would it cost you to wait another 7 years to become successful? Put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Good stuff.
I'm telling you, Amy, you're awesome. You're amazing. Oh, my
Take
goodness.
this show on the road.
I'm telling you, we should. Live, like on stage, like someone that's very close to you wants to do. I know. Yeah. Maybe we can. Okay. So you told me you have a guitar back there. So you're gonna strum something for us and sing us a song?
I don't play. My son plays the guitar. I play piano. I've been playing piano since I was 3. So that's my instrument. You can't exactly lug that in here, but my son is the guitar player and just plays amazing. And my daughter plays 5 instruments. So I've raised my own band. It's been amazing.
I've raised my own band. That's awesome.
Everybody works. Everybody works.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my goodness. There are so many things. I know we're running low on time, doggone it, but I wanted to ask you this one question. I want to segue over into your business specifically, pull up your website and let you explain what it is you do and how you help people at a more in-depth level. But first, real quick, I'm so deeply curious about this one question. I love asking it on every show that it was chosen by you. You chose your own questions. That was awesome. And what I want to find out is for you, like right now, what is working? So what used to work 10 years ago in, say, marketing, advertising, PR, all that, what used to work 10 years ago doesn't necessarily work the same as it did then today. And what is working today may not be the very thing that works 10 years from now. But right now, for you, Amy Scruggs, what is the best form of marketing that is working for you in your business?
What we are doing right here, utilizing incredible professionals that have a platform just like this, being on a great show, meeting other like-minded professionals and getting the message out there, being on podcast interviews, using digital marketing, utilizing social media the right way, and being consistent with the branding and the message to make an impact. And that has absolutely made a complete difference. Even the song release was all digital. I had a song released worldwide and charted because of utilizing these tools right here.
And I just slipped her a 50 under the table there. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That was awesome. I agree, though.
That's true.
Video is where it's at. There are studies. I've got lots and lots of data to report on. I do an advanced live video masterclass where I talk about that very thing. Live video is where it's at right now.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be there for quite some time.
It's not going anywhere.
I don't know of another medium. I mean, Amy, could you think about this back when you were doing television and you were doing those interviews? Can you imagine not having to pay for airtime?
No.
Right?
No.
Could you imagine being a guest on
we were
show?
The station was paying for airtime on those stations. It was broadcasting. It was.
And your interviews were how long?
They were between 5 and 7 minutes per professional. So they were usually a 30-minute show with multiple interviews and commercials in between.
Exactly. And now we have no commercials. And how long are we going? About an hour.
As long as we want. Yeah.
and how much is it costing for stage time? I mean, I pay an annual fee for StreamYard that we're using right now. That's it.
Exactly.
And
exactly. It's incredible what we can do.
It's an amazing time to be alive. I'm so excited.
It really is. When I was touring in 2007 and 8, when the recession hit, I was going town to town to make sure I was up early on radio shows and TV shows before performing then at night, then up again early the next morning. I was handing out flyers and marketing packages to venues because I didn't have these digital tools. I can't even imagine if I could have had the real-time tools when I was touring, the behind-the-scenes photos and videos I could have had, I have none of that.
Oh,
I have
wow.
whatever I was able to capture on my flip phone at the time. I wish I had had these tools, especially all the work I did with the veterans. The word we could have gotten out there for the AmVets then. I was doing it from town to town to town.
And I'll say it again. I said it behind the scenes. God bless you for the work with the veterans. I have a very sweet, soft spot I have nothing but respect for anyone who served, and I don't care what they did. If it was a desk job, it doesn't matter.
Right.
That was their time that they devoted to help our country, and I appreciate every one of them. Yeah, my dad was, and your dad as well, Air Force.
It was life-changing work with the veterans. I still am very involved with a lot of the nonprofits and the veteran associations here in Southern California, and it's just fantastic, incredible lifelong relationships that were established.
It's beautiful. You are beautiful inside and out. That's just complete. I really want to, after I say again, I really want to go through and find out more about what you're doing right now on your business. I want to bring up your website, and you told me some about what you're doing right now, and I just want to give you the opportunity to let people know what your current lane is, because I think what you're doing right now is so beneficial for everyone, given what you just said about your number one go-to marketing being live video like this. So if you don't mind, I'll pull that up and I'll just let you take it away and let us know what you're doing these days. And also, if you have a success story or two you'd like to tell, would love to hear about that as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, I absolutely love taking all the experiences that we just spoke about with trenching my way through in sales and marketing and everything else. That's the music website, which I'm just so proud of and love. And I coach media professionals for a living. I coach professionals, entrepreneurs, executives, anyone who's wanting to be in this space and tell their story and interview, whether it's on social media and you just want to do better at getting your own videos out there and your marketing out there, whether you are wanting to do more podcasting, whether you're trying to be on local news. Sometimes it's just the courage and the confidence presenting in front of your own team. There's so much that can be delivered with effective communication. A message, it's not a message if it didn't land, if it's not received. And learning how to effectively communicate. Too many people tell too much of the story. I notice a lot. Great professionals will just kind of go on and on about all the ingredients in the cake when we just really want to know what kind of cake it is. And getting to that point and learning how to storytell, learning how to be effective with your vocabulary, your inflections, how to create your branding, how you introduce yourself, how you work a room, or if you're going to be on a national stage and you want to start doing more public speaking. What I do is help professionals level up what their goals are in communication, and definitely in utilizing today's digital world and technology to get their message out there and get their brand out there, most importantly.
Now, is that all on Amy Scruggs Media then?
AmyScruggsMedia.com, yes. Two sites. It's two lanes and two careers side by side. AmyScruggsMedia.com. One site goes to the other. You can't miss me either way.
I gotcha.
So that's the format that we use, and there's a lot of information there. But it's really fun to work with professionals individually in one-on-one coaching, but also workshops. I love giving workshops. So a group of professionals, group of you, team wants to get together and say, let's do a workshop, make it affordable, then we can do that. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch people, and a great story. And I tell this one from a few years ago, and he loves it. One of the clients I had, he allows me to share this. He was terrified to do any speaking. And I mean, even in front of his own team of professionals as a manager, he would pace, he would look at the ground, he would stutter. He just wasn't there yet. And after this kind of work and some of the strategies that I do to build that confidence, find your talking points, become comfortable in them, I was able to be there with him 6 months later as he stood at an industry event in front of 500 professionals and community leaders as he delivered his message, and he knocked it out of the park. And I remember knowing then, wow, this really can work. And it has changed his business from then. I just spoke to him last week. He's like, Amy, you changed my life and my business, because he's now using these tools over and over and over again. And he's really doing some big, great things now, to know that I was able to have a small piece of helping him build his success. And anyone that I get to work with, I've had my moments on the big stage. I've been there. I've opened for some of the biggest names in music. I've sung in stadiums. I have those moments. When I'm coaching with a client, that's my opportunity to give you your moment, to teach you how to have your moment and have that mic drop moment where people go, wow, thank you. Thank you for being on our show today. What a great message. And everyone has that in them. We just get comfortable in our speaking patterns. We forget that there's beautiful vocabulary out there, that we can start a sentence with a sentence and not, so we can all level that up. And it just takes practice. And I have certain techniques that I use, and watching professionals have those success moments is really fun.
I want to drink the Kool-Aid you're drinking for sure. That's phenomenal. So what is the best way for people to connect with you for that part of it? We know that you can get to the music and go. Do you have an album that people can purchase as well?
Yes, I have an EP that's on all streaming platforms, so you can't miss it. Pandora, Spotify, iTunes. So just put Amy Scruggs into your favorite streaming platform. And if you just Google Amy Scruggs, both of these sites come up at amyscruggsmedia.com. There's links there. You can make a consultation appointment with me for free. You can email me directly through the site. All social media, you're just going to find me with Amy Scruggs Media. I'm pretty easy to find, and I do reply to all my messages.
And there might be a reason why you are so easy to find. I'm just thinking.
The name is not very common, so it helps.
That was not where I was going. I think it's because of your prowess of getting exposure, not just for your clients, but also for yourself. That's how many times I've seen folks that are really good about getting PR or exposure or doing something like website design for someone else. And then you go to their website and like, what the heck am I looking at? This is horrible. Is it true that sometimes it's easier to do, to actually figure out something for someone else than it is for yourself doing the same thing in your own business? Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, sure. That is normal. And I try to make a very disciplined practice to make sure that my branding, my visibility, and is all out there, because I have to do what I'm asking others to do.
Yes.
So I speak the way that I teach you how to speak. I use the same communication skills at home with my family 24/7. I'm practicing my communication. I'm constantly checking my algorithms, my sites, my social media, taking my own advice of if I'm doing a video, I take 2 and toss 1. So we don't get to 30 takes on trying to do something. So I take my own advice and apply it daily to my business so that there's continuity.
Yeah, I mean, you use what worked for you, and then you made a service from it.
Yes.
There's another secret to success, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you are really good at, that you don't have to perfect it, but you've got it down and you're confident, it'll get you results. We'll wrap it up into a tight bow and make it so that you can help others get the same results that you are.
Yes.
And there will be little tangents and different things you need to tweak here and there to make it more accommodating to a wide range of individuals, of personalities, of all kinds of things that you'll just learn as you go. You learn as you grow, right? And so this is it. You're looking at the model for success right here. Is Amy Scruggs. Oh my gosh. Oh, we're over already. I love it. So we do have gifts to give away. And I do want to do that before we sign off. I promised it. So for everyone watching us live right now, I'm going to put up on the screen how you can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments of our wonderful friends at the biginsidersecrets.com. That is Jason Nast, my buddy. He's a dear friend of mine. He's enabled us to give one of these away every single week as Miss Vanna Scruggs shows the tile above. That's awesome. Perfect, right on cue. And here it is. And write this down because you don't want to miss this. I've got one final question I love to ask Amy, and she still has a gift to give away as well. So we're going to wrap this up here in just a moment, but don't go anywhere just yet. So you see it on the screen. Just write this down, ryp.im/vacation. And if it helps any, RYP stands for Reach Your Peak, name of my company, ryp.im/vacation. And just write that down. I know it says enter now, but write it down. Enter it after the show's over. I will see the entries and we will pick the winner randomly. I hope it is you. Oh, by the way, hint, hint, wink, wink. Guest experts are allowed to enter as well. And they've won before. So it's all there for the taking. All right, enough of that. And then back to the little birdie that told me there is another gift that hopefully is something she can recall. I know you know it. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Amy. Tell people what this unbelievably valuable, very valuable gift is that you're offering today.
Okay, so if you have watched this and you've watched it all the way through now, you know what's about to happen. This is a gift. I'm going to do a 1-hour free workshop for anyone that goes to amyscruggsmedia.com, schedule a consultation, or just send the email to info@amyscruggsmedia.com and just reference the Mind Body Business Show, or just say Brian saw you on the show, and you will get notified of when that workshop is, and you can attend for free. So I don't care if there's 5 people, 100 people, we're going to have a workshop and a fun media coaching training to level up your visibility, your communications, and hopefully your business alongside of it. So just reference you saw me on the show, go to the website, reach out to me directly, and I will be putting that together.
Fantastic. So that email address again is info@Amy, that's AMY, Scruggs, SCRUGGS, and then media, I almost started spelling media, media, everyone knows how to spell media.com. So info@Amy Scruggs with 2 G's, media.com, and reference the Mind Body Business Show workshop. You saw it on Brian's show, whatever, like she said. I might take you up on that. That's pretty awesome. I'm learning stuff a lot, and I'm now very super self-conscious about all the ums and ahs I've been saying throughout this show. And it's a good thing. I never look at these
on that one.
but I never look at these as a bad thing. I like the feedback. And that's one thing I got. I got the most amazing feedback from teammates of mine when I was speaking from stage. I was a lead trainer for that mentor. Ultimately, I became the lead trainer. And one of the other people on the team was also an expert speaker, and he would sit in the back and he would write notes while I'm speaking, just like you would, I'm sure. And he was taking notes on the things that, he'd say, you did a good job on this and this, but here are some stretches. And he gave me some incredible feedback that in the beginning it hurt because that was my ego. Then when I took the stage the next time, night and day, incredible improvement. They noticed it. They also said, here's some more stretches. I said, good. That means I'll get even better. And it got to the point where I felt like I needed it every single time. And if that guy wasn't there, I felt kind of slighted. Like, hey, come on.
Wow.
I came here to get the feedback now. I want to improve. I want to be told what I need to improve on. It was pretty incredible. And so it was the greatest learning experience in so many ways. So, yes, the last question. Oh, gosh, I love this question. The interesting thing is it's already been asked and you've already answered it. And I'm just curious if you'll answer it a different way now.
Okay. See if I can pass this test.
It's awesome. And there is no test and there's no failing. There's only succeeding.
Not afraid
and
of
the
it.
reason is because this question it's very powerful. I found by asking it on occasion back when I started this show over 3 years ago, and I started realizing, wow, these answers are pretty stinking profound. I love this. This is pretty awesome. They weren't stinking at all. They smelled good, but they were really profound. And I decided to make it the closing question of every show. And I was thinking about it as you were basically answering it for a while earlier. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll still do it because let's see how she rolls with it this time. The good thing is, just as you did earlier, there's no such thing as a wrong answer. It's the exact opposite. The only correct answer is yours because it's unique to you. There is no failing. It is 100%. You've already passed before you even say a word. And it doesn't matter if you come up with the next answer instantly or if that answer takes some time because you've already answered it once. Either way is fine because it's your answer. It's perfect. So with all that, I'm sure the curiosity is like bubbling up, like, what was that daggone question already? With all that, are you ready?
I am.
All right, here we go. Amy Scruggs, how do you define success?
Taking the limits off, not putting expectations that I have to be something by a certain age or certain time, but saying I've done my best and proud of the journey. And if today's the last day of that journey, I've already succeeded. And if there's more ahead, then I've already succeeded. Taking those limits off has been the game changer and what I feel is my greatest key to success.
You know what's coming, don't you? Oh, yeah. One last job. My goodness, a show full of smart bombs, knowledge bombs, bombs of wisdom. This is Amy Scruggs, ladies and gentlemen. She is an amazing, amazing woman, as you all, I'm sure, now know as well. And Amy, I just want to say personally to you, thank you so very much. We went a good 10 minutes over for this show. I appreciate you hanging on with me and everybody else because I don't do that very often. That's a sign of the sheer joy I'm having on this and the great value you have provided, just over the top. And I appreciate you so much for your heart your integrity, your authenticity, and your perseverance, everything about you. Thank you for going through everything you went through in your life to become who you are today and help and serve others. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
It was an honor to be with you and to be a part of this show. I was really looking forward to it, and it way beyond met my expectations.
Ooh, I like that. All
So
right,
thank
here's another 50 under the table. So on behalf of the absolutely amazing Amy Scruggs, I am your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. Until we meet again, everyone, I cannot wait to see you. Go out there and crush it, serve people, and above all, be blessed. That's it for now. Good night. Have a great, great evening. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.